sluts? Why, yes. Yes, we are. There's 8.3 billion people on this planet. How did you think that we all got here? By swiping right or swiping left or creating an AI boyfriend, which is soon to come to our near future? No, 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 no. We are sluts. Otherwise, explain all the people in the world. Really, seriously. This is the question that is pondered in this next episode of Sex in the City, Season 3, Episode 6. Are we sluts? Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena, and if you haven't been here before, thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. And for all my wonderful, wonderful people in my community, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let's do this, people. Thank you, everyone, for watching the last episode, which was Season 3, Episode 5. You know, Aiden is here. That's the only way I can tell you. You can check it out on my playlist. In this one, we are going to discover a few things. For one, Charlotte has now is dating the Antichrist. Miranda has got to share her number of how open she's been, literally, with her boyfriend, who is ironically more open than she has ever been. Samantha needs to change zip codes because she ran out of men in the one that she's in. And, you know, Carrie and Aiden. Carrie wants to have boudoir intimacy. Aiden wants to hold off. So the middle ground is they take a bath. There you have it, people. These are the people in our neighborhood that we're going to get to know and love. Season 3, Episode 5, Are We Sluts? Written by Cindy Chopak. Stay tuned. Our first character, which I'm considering a short, you know, to appease the YouTube short gods, is Charlotte. Charlotte's contribution in this episode is short and sweet. She is dating some Wall Street hedge fund investment, something she met at a gallery or her gallery. I don't know. It happened so fast, I couldn't tell you. She's out there still trying to meet her Prince Harry. So, as she is in the boudoir with her new beau, who's only been on 3 dates, he has the way of saying, as he's trying to finish the job on his end, not her, but his. He calls her a effing bitch and an effing whore. That's the only way apparently he can climax. And it shocked the hell out of Charlotte. I have to tell you, when I first saw the scene, and I've watched this several times, even then and now, I was not shocked. I would be more shocked because I've heard worse in this season, in episode actually. And I know Charlotte. She's not the little Pollyanna Park Avenue flower child that we all like to believe that she was. She's not. She got a little freaky hoe in her, okay? I personally would have been more surprised if he would have said, thank you very much. It was great. Now go make me a sandwich. Or if he would have said, oh my God, that was great. What time is the cab coming to pick you up? Or this would have been a little bit red flag. This was great. Now I'm going to go to my closet, get my paddle so you could spank me. I mean, you know, we all have to pick our battles. Those are the things that would have been a little scary for me. But this is Charlotte's world, and we're just all squirrels trying to get a nut. Prince. So she explains this to the girls in their diner routine. And as, you know, they're all laughing about it, saying, you know, okay, well, honey, you have had a lot of men. Maybe he and it was during sex. It wasn't like walking around on the avenue, Fifth Avenue, just blurting it out. Relax. It's okay. You live. Because nothing's ever perfect for Charlotte. Remember, she has to have the perfect kiss, the perfect making live, the perfect boyfriend, the perfect ring, the perfect wedding, the perfect hair, the perfect face, the perfect clothes, and then she had her kids. Because they were perfect. Mm. So she is out on a date with Potty Mouth, for lack of a better word, and she's trying to explain to him how she felt about what he said to her during their boudoir session as he was trying to finish himself off. And he has absolutely no freaking clue what he said. So she has decided that maybe it was just a fluke and that, it's okay. I'm crazy. Don't pay attention to me. I'm Charlotte. So we're back at it again into the bedroom because now this is the fourth date. And he says it again. And she says, there, that's what it is. You that. And he's like, what? He goes, you called me an effing bitch and an effing whore. And he goes, oh my God, I had no idea. That's horrible. And then he says the words that every woman wants to hear. I certainly do not think that of you. I think of you as someone that I would actually like to marry one day. Did you hear that? Let me say it again. You might be someone I like to marry one day. Might you be the one? Maybe. Not sure. But you are someone that I could, or someone like you. I caught that immediately. I was like, oh, gee, thanks. I think I'm in the running as what? The effing bitch or the effing whore? Which one? Pick one. Pick one. I'll lean wherever I need to go in order to get that, said ring. Oh my God. So, she is somewhat happy to hear that, I guess. And as now the fifth date happens, they're back at it again. And she's in the boudoir with him again. And guess what? This time he's a scared. He'd be a scared because he can't say the words that it wants to come out of his mouth and he doesn't want to finish. And she's like, but what's wrong? She goes, but I'm scared. And she goes, but what's wrong? But I'm scared. But they're all fine. Go ahead and say it. You effing bitch, you effing whore. And he just feels horrible, collapses, and she never sees him again. Thank you. Thank you for the short. I needed that as a palate cleanser for the rest of the episode. My God, she's got more coming before she meets Harry. Let's go on to the next one. Short number 2. Short number 2 is going to be Samantha and the new zip code. Stay tuned. Samantha has run out of meat in her zip code. But before we get there, let's see how she got to this level. Samantha gets deliveries at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't get these kind of deliveries, but I cannot cite someone who can get these type of deliveries. And her delivery is her delivery man. Literally. So the next morning, as she's in her small vestibule of a building, yet I still don't know what her room is actually smaller than the actual lobby, just so you understand. So I'm very happy that she made this move. Okay. How she did it, why, I don't care. I'm glad she left that damn building because we never saw Samantha's apartment. Never. I saw a bed, curtains, and a mirror. I never saw a bathroom, a kitchen. I have no idea what the hell she lives in. I really literally think that she was just peeing in a bucket. So as she's in the lobby, there are police officers, and apparently someone snuck into the building, a doorman building, and beat up one of the old elderly women. I guess the door was open, and he got into her apartment and beat her up. And Samantha is trying to figure out, well, how could this happen when this is a secure building with a doorman? Because that means nothing. They do go out, walk around, or take a break. So apparently when they were looking at the videotape, it was the man that beat up the person in her building came in behind the guy as Cindy Chopak says, that came in Samantha that evening. And Samantha knows who that guy is, the guy that she let in, and she doesn't know the guy that came in to rob the place. So she stays quiet. And, her whole arc is that she tried to tell the girls what happened. And then she tells Carrie that she needs to move because as she's in the lobby, one of the I wish I could give you more clips on this scene because it was actually funny. One of the women in the building says, I knew it was you who let that guy in. Every time you're in this elevator, you're with a different guy every time. And as we look at the memories of the man Samantha did, so many memories of the men she were with. I don't know how else to put this because I can't put the clips. We go through the myriad of men that she's either filling up, felt up, humped, jumped in the elevator while this woman is there and the elevator man. Literally. Um, so, Samantha is thinking back at this. She goes, oh, well, yeah, I could be the problem. Right? Sure. So she doesn't answer the woman because what is she going to say? The woman was there every time. So the next scene we have is that Samantha is walking through her lobby again, which again is much bigger than the entire apartment and even the elevator and even the floor that she gets off on. And the woman that was beat up, plus some other people that are in the building, are saying that we know it was you. You always have men coming in and, you're not right for the building. And pretty much they didn't say it, but you're not right for the building doesn't mean we want you to stay. So as she goes upstairs to talk to Carrie, she tells Carrie, I'm going to have to move. It was like they attacked me. It was like, I'm fucking dance. Oh my God. Some of the things that these people say and write is hilarious. Okay. As I think back at it, I was laughing. I was like, what? I'm trying to be clean, but how could I be clean with a show that's called Sex in the City? Tell me. Help me. So Carrie's reaction is not of caring of, her being chased in the hallway, like with stakes and fire. She goes, no, you can't move. You have a rent stabilized apartment on the Upper East Side. I'm going to give it to Carrie. Why? Because I'm a New Yorker and I know exactly what she meant when now, it doesn't mean that the rent that Samantha's paying for the pigeonhole that she has is reasonable by anyone's mental capacity, even back then, but it's rent stabilized. Now, she could have put it in a different way, like, honey, are you sure? Are you safe? Is there anything we can do to help you? Like, put, fire in the lobby, something, anything. No, just, don't move. Well, we don't see Samantha looking for an apartment. We don't see Samantha actually struggling to find an apartment. The only thing that is contributed to the next scene is literally the end of the episode, where Samantha has now moved to the meat packing district, which I believe is her final apartment before we never see Samantha again and she moves to London. And then you just see her walking with herself, her moving van. She's walking past the people in her neighborhood that may or may not be, male or female at this point. And we don't really see the apartment, but we know that this is the one that she has a window that we can see out of. She has a bedroom. My God, we get to see her in a kitchen with plates and possibly cooking. I believe we even have a bathroom. So this was a good move, regardless of why she had to move. Now, the questionable meat that's outside of her apartment, she'll have a long time to get through. But we have stability for Samantha, so that's what counts. Next up is, how much is too many when you talk openly to your boyfriend when you have an STD of the people that you have been with? We get to find out because next up is our third lady ish, Miranda and Steve. And how open are you with your openness from your past? Yeah, they do. Our next short, because this is pretty short, though the conversation is about how long or more, how how many, is Miranda and Steve. Okay, so we're walking through Central Park, and as Carrie is complaining about her chronicles, which we will get into, Miranda has made a proclamation. And trigger warning, I don't know how safe it is to say this on YouTube, but I'm going to be as clear as possible. As they're walking, Miranda states that she went to her gynecologist, and the gynecologist, for good measure, threw in a test for an STD, any of them, and apparently Miranda has chlamydia. How she got it, she's not sure. And that is the problem. It could have been any number of guys. Because when she had been asked by the doctor, she said, I don't know how I got it. It could be from any number of guys. And she felt that she was being a little judgmental, her, the gynecologist, to Miranda. And the gynecologist had decided to tell her that, in the shock of her response of she doesn't know where she could have gotten it because she's been with, so many men, tells her that she should call all the men that she's ever been with since lifetime and tell them to all get tested. I'm going to have to say, I have never, thankfully, encountered this situation. Knock on wood. So I am not too sure how accurate that statement is as far as a gynecologist telling you to call every person that you've ever been with to get them all tested. There's probably some truth to that. Anybody who's a gynecologist, do you recommend for them to call every single person to get tested? It's an interesting scenario. Again, since I've never been through it myself, I don't ever have anyone ever tell me that. And that is where the conundrum is for Miranda, because not only does she have to make a list of all the men she's loved before, she has to first remember them. So she's sitting in her living room trying to make a list of all the men that she needs to call to let them know that they need to get tested for said STD. She writes down guy from the deli. And as Carrie narrates, she is quite shocked that she was able to go through all the men that she could remember. Remember, she's writing down the people she could remember. Doesn't mean that that's an accurate number. Just the people she could remember. That how did she get through school, a law degree, and a successful lawyer while being physically active? So here's the other part that was a little confusing to me. She's in bed with her now boyfriend, Steve, and out of nowhere, he wants to have boudoir sessions, and she blurts out, I can't today, Steve. I have chlamydia. And of course, Steve doesn't know what that is. So let's pause for a second. I'm just very confused on this scene. Are you telling me that the entire day went, and it's until you are in bed with him that you decide to just blurt it out? Now, I don't expect her to call him and say, hey, Steve, when you get home today, we're going to learn about an STD that I have. So I want you to bring your A game and take some notes. No, I do expect her to tell him in person. But I don't understand. Did he just come home and jumped into bed? You were not with him at any other point of the day, like when he walked in and sat him down like a normal human being, and before we get into bed, we can't have sex because I have, an STD. You waited until he started to cuddle up to you, and then you blurted out? Fans want to know. So he doesn't know what it is. She explains it to him, and he says, well, okay. And she says, you need to go get tested. And he goes, oh man, come on. I don't have a doctor. I don't like doctors. Like a big back crying baby. Okay. And she goes, go down to the free clinic. And he's like, but why do I have to go? Because, if you don't, you're male or carriers, and that we will ping pong this disease to her every time because he could be positive. I guess that made sense to him because the next scene you have is that he's at a doctor's office, I guess a free clinic, and the doctor wants to swab his manhood with a Q-tip. That is how the test is taken. Now, I don't have a manhood. I have a womanhood, and I've been poked and prodded in the doctor's office. Everybody come down. And I know how painful every single visit has been. I don't care. They could be just looking at it. I'm like, what are you doing down there? It is uncomfortable. So I sympathize if this is the first time that he's ever had Q-tips used in that area. But it was actually hilarious because I'm like, welcome to our world, sucker. So the next thing you have is Miranda is going down the list of men that she could recall and calling them all to go and get a chlamydia test. And apparently the one that she's on the phone with is someone that she dated and now he's married. And she's like, oh, I guess you're married now, so you don't have to worry about these things. Girl, how nice. Yeah, no. Just when you put on that ring, it doesn't become an automatic, Iron Man suit. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Trust me. If that was the case, then why do more than 50% of marriages fail? So now she has to talk to the mean guy that I remember talking about in season 1, where he was very aggressive. He was very mean. And apparently he's back for one more time. And she needs to tell him to go get a test. And he goes, I already took a test. He's very rude. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, well, do you have it? And he goes, well, what business is of yours? I'm like, we're going nowhere in circles in this whole conversation. And she's like, because you may have given it to me. And he goes, what are you going to do? Sue me? I'm like, oh my God, just cut his manhood off. Just cut it off. It didn't go well. She hangs up. That was the whole contribution to this whole scene. The next scene you have is that Steve's test came back. It was negative. So now she feels bad because now she keeps calling herself a diseased whore because she's the one who has and he doesn't. And as sympathetic as Steve is for, Miranda, he's like, hey, that's my girlfriend you're talking about. I'm like, oh God. Then she just blurts out, the most humiliating part was that I had to make a list of all the men that I slept with and then call them. And, I don't know about you, but if I were told that by my significant other, the next words that came out of Steve's mouth would have been my words too. And how many men are on this list? She goes, no, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to be judged. Then why the hell did you open your mouth and tell him you made it? Of course he's going to want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. My God. So stupid. I hate this episode. In case you didn't know, I don't like this episode. So she's like, oh, don't judge me. I'm like, okay. So just so you know, this guy lives in a basement that looks like from the scene of Taxi Driver. You have all the money and you have all the cards right now. He ain't going nowhere. Just so you know. Okay. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot, he probably would have kicked you out. But no, that's not going to happen. We know this, right? So she says 42. And remember, this is the ones that she could remember. So add at least 10% to that. Okay. And he's like, wow. She goes, you see? She goes, that's a lot. He goes, no, that's not that bad. I don't know in what time frame that is because I don't know when she lost her virginity. 42 at the age of 33 that she is. That sounds, let's give it a bucket of her being active since the age of 16. She's 10 over her years that she should be 15, 20 actually. Listen, I can't count because when I heard that, I was like, yeah, okay. From the ones you can remember, right? And they're jumping into bed, and she goes, "Tell me your number." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna tell you." I'm like, "Why are we playing this game? Why? Games people play. Seriously." And she's like, 10? I'm like, what? That I would have been insulted. I'm like, you think this guy had 10, only 10? What? She thinks she's the Alibaba of his life. I knew immediately that there was no way he had 10. 60. He's like, higher. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I would have stopped at 60. Really? I would have stopped. Even if it was higher, I would have stopped. She goes, higher than 60? He goes, oh, what can I say? I'm a bartender and I'm cute. That explains the entire relationship. Because you know what happens, right? You know what he does several times in their relationship. He's a cute bartender. So there you have it. They have bonded over chlamydia. Seriously, because they just go into bed. She's rubbing lotion. He's reading a book. Oh, yeah, you got 42. I got over 60. We're good, right? Sucky face. I would have been in my sleep screaming. Okay? But that's their love. The love shack. It's a shack I do not want to visit. Our last putana, Carrie. Carrie and Aiden sitting in the tree. Kissing. First comes sex, then comes a bath, and then I don't understand the rest of this relationship. For 30 years. So let's get into it. Hey, I haven't said this in a while, but if you haven't and you're enjoying this content because more is to come, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. And don't go away. Or shall I say, stay tuned. So, to get to our final answer for our question, are we sluts? We have to get into Carrie and Aiden as the scene opens from this wonderful, series and episode. Aiden and Carrie are at her, doorway kissing as Carrie is wearing a skirt, also known as a lawn cloth. And as Aiden is practically rubbing every part of whatever is exposed, which is almost everything, you can hear Carrie narrating that, she has been, waiting to sleep with Aiden. This is the fourth date. And, from the man that his kisses made her weak in the knees. Now, I'm going to say this sarcastically throughout the entire episode and probably the series only because of one thing. After we have discovered what was really happening 30 years later in just like crap, every episode that I have to deal with Aiden and Carrie makes me want to, okay? Because it doesn't end well. And I keep saying, we should have known then what we know now, okay? So she asks if he wants to come in. He says, no, I have to get up early tomorrow and I'll see you the next day. And Carrie is perplexed on why is it, as she's wearing her lawn cloth and letting him feel her up, why he doesn't want to come in and sleep with her after the fourth date. Do you see a trend here? The more that he pushes away from her, the more she wants to get to know him and be around him. This goes all the way into the reboot. You know what I'm talking about. The next scene we have is the girls are at the diner as poor Charlotte is, describing her incident with, the Antichrist and the effing bitch, the effing whore love making session. Um, Carrie is shocked that Charlotte is actually getting more sex than she is because there's nothing going on between her and Aiden. And of course, one of the things that Samantha puts into her head is that maybe he's gay. No, he's not. Maybe his manhood tilts to the right. Of course, Carrie says, then I'll go left. I don't know how that works. If you've ever had that, let me know if that's a thing. And that if not, if the first two are not probable, then the last one must be true. Because maybe you're just friends and he just wants to be friends. So now we have to listen to Carrie throughout the entire episode, wondering if Aiden wants to be just friends because that's what Samantha put in her head. So as the next scene goes with her, Carrie and Miranda's walk of chlamydia shame through Central Park. Well, no. Let me backtrack. My apologies. I have to backtrack for a second because now she's paranoid that Aiden just wants to be friends. The next date comes, and apparently she's going to push the agenda and figure out if this is just friends. Got it. Problem is that she claims that she's wearing a dress that leaves little to the imagination, which, by the way, is more than what she was wearing in the first opening scene because she has actual full clothes on. And she asks him again as they finish making out, do you want to come in? And he goes, no. And she goes, yeah. You have something to do tomorrow morning. Bye. And she walks into her apartment, closes the door on him because she can't have him. You see what I'm saying? Isn't this what she does every time with him? Yes, she does. So he knocks on the door and he goes, what's going on in that head of yours? Oh, Aiden, run, run, run far, run fast. But no, you are in it for the long haul. I don't like you. So she says, why don't you want to sleep with me? Do you just want to be friends? My God, she annoys the shit out of me. Sorry for my language. Getting a little salty. And he goes, no, I do want to sleep with you. Look at you. Of course I want to sleep with you. You're my Mr. Big. So, but the problem is that I've slept with many women and I'm still single. That's why you're still single, Aiden. That's why. It's not because you're a little cuckoo. No, that can't be it. So my new thing is I want to wait until it means something to me. Okay. And, Carrie is shocked. She goes, oh. So now we have the walk of chlamydia shame in Central Park with Miranda while, Carrie is expressing romance. It's romance. It didn't even occur to me that it's romance. Why did I want to sleep with him so fast? And I'm like, yeah, 4 dates. It's pretty, I mean, listen, we all have a number. I've known people who slept together on the first date and they're married still. Maybe not happily married, but they're still married. Okay. So I don't know what your number is. I'm not here to judge anyone. It's whenever it feels right for you, however you want to take the relationship. I can't judge you. I can't. I could judge them, but I can't judge, you in theory. So, you know, the problem is that she's thinking that she's moving too fast and that is this what 13 years living in Manhattan does? So she's writing to herself in her computer saying that if you're a 30 something year old woman living in Manhattan and you are choosy and you don't want to settle, you inevitably rack up an enormous amount of men that you may have slept with that you could remember. I don't believe that that's true. I think that it depends on the person. You can decide to have one night stands with the guy at the deli that you don't even know his name, or you can decide not to. And it doesn't mean that if you're in your 30s that you're going to have inevitably because you are selective. Because if you were selective, you wouldn't be worried about that. Oh my God, I just sound like the devil. I'm so sorry. Okay. Being selective is depending on what you're selecting. Are you selecting just to be on a one night stand or you're selecting to continue to have sex until you find the right man? Charlotte, we don't even talk about Samantha because, she's on a league of her own. Okay. I don't even know what's going on with Miranda. I don't want to know. We all know what happens there. But Carrie is like in her head thinking, oh, well, I have slept with a lot of men. I'm in my 30s. I'm very selective. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now that I got that out of my system, now she goes on another date with him. Well, I should say she invites him in. He brings over food because God forbid if she cooks. And now it's in her head, are we friends or are we boyfriends and girlfriends? And this is the tug of war in her mind while she's narrating every move that he makes with her in the kitchen. You don't have, a plate of set, what is it? A set of plates? No, of course not. I can't take points away from him because this is the first time he's actually in and he starts to get to know Carrie. You should be lucky she has plates. Okay. You lucky you're not eating off of paper plates. That's all I'm saying. So be impressed for the little that you can be. Okay. Oh, he'll learn. He won't care, but he'll learn. And, he teases me like a friend. And then he kisses her, but he kisses like a boyfriend. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. As they're watching, Zorro on, his chair as he's sitting there and he's rubbing her neck, I don't care what anybody says. I think Catherine Zeta-Jones is hot. Okay. I vaguely remember Zorro. I do kind of sort of remember Catherine Zeta-Jones. I don't care. And Carrie is narrating, friend, but she's not as hot as you. And then she narrates, boyfriend and liar. I'm like, how many more minutes we have to go through this minutia? Well, I guess I got my answer because the next scene she's talking to Charlotte and she's complaining to Charlotte that her man boyfriend friend is been in the bathroom for the last 30 minutes and she's been working and this is not romance, this is bullshit. And, Charlotte's like, well, it's promising that he's there. She goes, no, it's not. He's been on the John. I don't know what he's doing. It's all about me and he doesn't want me and he's my friend and Catherine Zeta-Jones and I don't have plates and I'm eating Chinese food because he brought it and you don't know how to cook. Did I say I was finished with my rant? Ay, paciencia Dios. I don't like this girl. I don't at all. So he goes, Carrie, come here. And she goes, I gotta get off the phone now. My friend wants to see me in the bathroom. She opens the door and he drew a bath for her for 30 minutes. That is the slowest bath I've ever heard being drawn. Can only presume that he put the water on very low so she doesn't hear that he's drawing water for a bath. And she says, oh, it's like a Danielle Steele novel in here. And I was like, ooh, I got to go pick up the next Danielle Steele novel. I haven't read her books in a long time. Literally, that is the distraction that I had. I used to read Danielle Steele, Sue Me, okay? And Harlequin books. And possibly some more dirty romances on my Amazon page. I said, don't judge me. So he's like, oh, for a writer, I think that that's an insult. She goes, no, no, no. It's wonderful. He's got candles. He's got a bell. He's got everything set up for her. And he's like, okay, I got to go. And she's like, what? She goes, oh, no, this is for you. You seem tense. And just so you know, this doesn't mean we're friends. She goes, well, I'm going to be taking a bath. I'll be naked. And he goes, will you be naked? She goes, yeah, that's the thing about baths. And I'm like, what is happening here? What is happening? So the next thing you see is that he's walking out because, she has that two-way entrance to her bathroom. And she's a teeny tiny little pea in a big, 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 big bubble bath pond. And she goes, big bath for a tiny person. And he just looks at her and I'm like, run, run, Ada, run. Don't give in. You gave in. You convinced me. So now we have two naked people in the bath who haven't had sex yet. And we're still contemplating why he hasn't slept with her because is he a boyfriend or a friend? I'm guessing, taking a wild guess, that now that you've seen each other naked in the bath, that you may be just slightly above friends because I have a lot of friends. Male, female, gay, straight. I can vehemently tell you, I've never taken a bath with any of them. Never, ever, ever, ever will. There has to be a serious drought. And when I'm talking about drought, nobody has water. for me to even think that, hey, let's take a bath together. So he's like, they're both naked under the bubble bath. And he's like, yeah, the hell with it. Let's do it. Let's do it now. She's like, no, no, it shouldn't be this way. I want it to mean something. It won't mean something if we just do it. He's playing with her. And I'm like, what? Okay. And they get out of the bath. They've seen each other naked. So what's left? Oh, yeah, sex. So the last scene we have with them is that it's the date of the 6th, I guess. And they've already bathed together. And, they're talking small talk about, her being a New Yorker and she's never been to the Blue Note. I've said this before. I'm going back to the Blue Note. And I will let you guys know. I'm dying to go back to the Blue Note. This is all I was thinking about the entire time. And he's like, how would you feel if I stay over? And she's like, I don't know. What about Pete? Well, I've already made arrangements for the Super's kid to walk him and feed him in the morning. And she's like, so you've had this plan the entire time? I'm thinking to myself, so you're ready? So you got to see the goodies? My goodies. My goodies. Where you bathe and you're like, next up, Blue Note. I'm jumping into bed. I guess that's it. He calls the shots for the last time in the entire relationship. She's like, oh, goody, yay. And they start making out because she finally got her way. She got her mans and she finally felt wanted and loved and bathed and blue noted and it's 30 years of this relationship that she is contributing to the fact that, she thinks that Big was a big mistake because she should have stayed with Aiden because, Big never drew her a bath, never asked for romance. As a matter of fact, they slept on the first date. So this is the perfect man for Carrie, right? That is what I thought back then. The first time watching it with my girlfriends. I was like, hey, this is a possibility. I was so naive. So naive. And then they go into the bedroom or her apartment, which is almost a bedroom, it's a studio. And she's like, oh, this time I was nervous. I'm surely not a virgin, but this is virgin territory for me because this time we were gonna, I want to say she said made love and it was gonna mean something. So what, what, what? Let me say this again. What? And they're jumping into the bed together and, the next scene is the morning and he gets up. He goes, oh, that's what I wanted. Jokingly, because he's so funny. He's so funny. I cannot tell you how funny Aiden is. So the narration is like, oh, from Carrie. That's the thing about new relationships. You get a clean slate until you get an STD. That's what she didn't say that, but I said that. I'm like, there's no clean slate here. Okay, you just reset. There's no clean slate. Oh, that's it. Now we have to deal with everything that happens after to Aiden and Carrie. Because now that she's got him under her spell, tú me hiciste brujería, bruja, bruja. For all the non-Spanish people who never heard that song, all my Spanish people, you know that song. Clue them in. Epilogue. Stay tuned. Epilogue. As I got a frog in my throat. So are we sluts? I think the answer is yes. All of us. Male, female, and everybody in between. There is no doubt about it. At what level of slutlets? A slutdom is really perception. Okay? I don't judge people. I don't care. I do care if you have an STD and then you have to call everybody you would have given it to, but I don't fall under that range. Okay? Thankfully. I've lived a very healthy life, except for diabetes. As we start to get further into this series, I'm noticing something about me. Ever since the recap, it completely changed my perception of the show. Before the recap, I'm telling you, I had an infinite love for this show. I've watched this series in the course of its years because I had the DVD packs, for those people who remember DVDs. And I wouldn't say I watch it frequently, but at least once a year, I would go in and do a Sex and the City binge. Once a year. I cried my ass off when it ended. I did go to each of the movies when we are actually going to movie theaters. I did enjoy the second one as much as I did the first. Um, I didn't know too much about the issues on set with Sarah Jessica and Kim Cattrall. Since we've been so plugged into everybody's life since the series has ended and so much has come out, and then they went ahead and shoved that recrap into our face, it has given me a little bit of a disdain for the series. And as I start to watch this now from that perspective, those lenses, understanding what, it could be hyperbole. I don't know. It's a he said, she said fest. What happened with Mr. Big, the actor. I mean, it's just been so much that sitting here and enjoying the nostalgia of it has been a little trying. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really upset about how the Aiden character turned out to be, how Sarah Jessica Parker and what they tried to do in the recap really just set me the hell off. That I look back at this and I see the trajectory of her becoming just part of the series to becoming, the executive producer, executive producer, everything that happened. And it's like, are all those signs still there? Like, did we miss so much? Should they have stopped at the movies? I think they should have, because they didn't bring to us a quality television in just a recap. I think we can all agree on that. Most of us can, because it's not being renewed, obviously. Um, I think that I still believe that the writing was really done well, because even though it is upsetting to watch, there's certain topics that they touched upon that we are so accustomed to hearing now that we don't think about as if it wasn't normal back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still a shock factor. Is it aging well? I don't think so anymore. I used to believe that it aged very well because of everything I didn't know before. Um, but I can tell you this much. I'm enjoying it, bringing it to you. And here's another conundrum that I have. YouTube and the rules, and you got to be clean, and you can't say certain things, and you never know if they're going to show your videos and stuff like that. You got to be careful. Now monetized, thankfully for all of you, advertisers. It has become increasingly difficult to try to bring to you certain episodes that are clearly, they could be seen as little dirty, you know, little bad, little woke. It's hard. We're not as free to speak as we used to be. So there's going to be times that I'm going to have to use metaphors. And that's why, and another thing for anybody who's watching me for the first time, I don't script this. This is all me. This is not an AI version of Lena. And I normally watch it right before I record it just so I can retain the scenes that I'm bringing over to you. And that's where I sometimes get stuck, because as I want to say certain things, I'm like, crap, Ola, and I can't. So forgive me if it seems that I am not as fluid as, say, maybe some other people can be, or AI voice can be. But this is the raw interpretation and the reality real time for me of me bringing it over to you. So, sometimes it'll be funny. Sometimes it'll be like, oh, damn it. And you'll see it because, the wheels, you're going to be like, you're trying to talk. I'm not going to change it up. I'm not going to script it. I hate scripting. The only thing I script is the year in review when we get into the next season. I always do that, where we start a new season, is technically a new year, and then there's a portion of the video that I script. But I am becoming a little bit aware of certain things that I probably should have been aware back then. And I think it's just the way that media has portrayed the series after. because this was a juggernaut. This was a huge thing. And even up until the first movie when Kim Cattrall was playing a part of it and we didn't know the extent of their relationship between her and Sarah Jessica, it was still somewhat enjoyable, very enjoyable actually. And it saddens me that I am revisiting this and I'm going to be honest with you guys, after this, once I finish this series, I probably won't go back and watch Sex and the City. I won't say forever, but it'll be a hell of a long time before I go back. And I'm talking about a good decade. And by then I'll be 66. So what else am I going to do? Sit popcorn and watch everything that happened in the 90s, in the year 2000. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It'll be more nostalgic. And I would love to see what I would feel like in the next 10 years, God willing, if I'm still around. But I'd like to have a book of my memories with you guys here, which is why I'm going through episode by episode. And I hope that you guys are enjoying it. And please like, comment, share, hype, because these videos need to reach the algorithm and it needs to be picked up. And I can't do it. I can't. Only you guys can. And I know that there's many of you that are enjoying this. And I know that there's many more that will be enjoying this. So we're in season 3. Wow. There's 6. We got some time. I'll be throwing in some other videos in there. So tell me, can you see my point? Are you feeling the way I feel about rewatching this now after we've been through And Just Like Crap? Is anybody else feeling that way? Or do you still hold this series to your heart and say, the hell with Just Like Crap? I can still sit down and really enjoy this series for what it is as a pocket universe and not give a furry ruts behind it what happened in the reboot. Or is it becoming intermingled like it has with me? I would love to really get your thoughts on that because I noticed that on my last video. I was like, when I saw Aiden, normally I would have been excited. I was excited when he joined the cast of And Just Like Crap. I cried my ass off. I have a video of me crying my ass off. I'm like, Aiden's here, Aiden's here. And then that died. I cried when Big died. I have a video on that. It was an ugly cry. After that, everything that they went through and what she put him through and how the writers really just set everything up, just going back and watching this now, I'm like, yo, dude, run, run, run. But, we don't. So he doesn't. So we have more to go. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please let me know your thoughts. And for everyone who does like, comment, share, hype, I love you, right? And like I always say, if I were to be able to show you the amount of love that I have for you, I would smother you. Smother you. So stay tuned for the next episode. And from here to around the world that I reach, I wish you a blessed day, a blessed night, a blessed week, a blessed weekend, month, and year. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Mwah.